When the ancient Egyptians contemplated the end of life, they envisioned the visage of a deity in the afterlife. Was it Anubis who greeted them? Yet, who exactly was Anubis? How did he ascend to the position of the god of the underworld? And what's the story behind his jackal-headed appearance in this narrative? We are about to delve into the ancient chronicle of the Egyptian god of death. Welcome to the enigmas of mythology. The saga of Anubis's emergence is rife with betrayal, dread of abandonment, and the nurturing love of a goddess. Anubis's mother was Nephthys, the goddess of mourning, nocturnal childbirth, protection of the dead, and magic. She harbored a profound, dark secret, an attraction to her sister's spouse, Osiris, the deity of fertility and agriculture. To exacerbate the situation, her own husband was Set, the god of storms, chaos, and violence. Ever since their birth, a fierce rivalry existed between Set and Osiris. In a climactic act of rivalry, Set murdered Osiris and dismembered his body, casting the pieces across the expanse of Egypt. But that's a tale for another time. Nephthys, also the twin of her sister Isis, once, in a guise of her sibling, enticed Osiris. Thus, it was no astonishment that after an encounter with the god of fertility, she soon found herself pregnant. Shortly thereafter, Anubis was born, aware that if her husband discovered the illegitimate offspring, especially one fathered by his rival brother, both she and the child would suffer a fate more severe than death. Nephthys, in fear of her husband's retribution, abandoned the newborn Anubis. However, this abandonment was not the end of Anubis's journey. It was, in fact, a pivotal moment in his destiny. Some tales suggest it was the murmuring of her sister on the wind or the moon's guidance that led Isis to discover the infant Anubis as she traversed the Nile Delta. As the goddess of love, magic, and motherhood, she took compassion on the child, despite recognizing her sister's transgression, and raised the young boy with a jackal's visage as her own. The benevolence of his adoptive mother would later be reciprocated. The first instance occurred during a pivotal moment in Egyptian mythology, the battle between Osiris and his brother Set. Osiris had become the pharaoh of Egypt, ushering in a prosperous era. However, with each of Osiris's triumphs, Set's envy for his brother's achievements grew. In the peak of their rivalry, Set slew Osiris and tore him into 14 pieces, dispersing them throughout Egypt to ensure he could never be resurrected. Isis, in her unyielding pursuit, collected the fragments of Osiris with the help of her sister Nephthys and the god of wisdom, Thoth, to revive her husband. During this process, Anubis, her stepson, played an indispensable role. He adeptly used linen strips and incantations, crucial for preserving Osiris's body, a preservation that was essential for Isis to eventually restore Osiris to life. Until then, Anubis had been the overseer of the underworld, governing its domain. With his father revived and unable to rule the living, Anubis became the new ruler of the underworld. He also took on other duties as the god of funeral rites, protector of tombs, and guide to the netherworld. He presided over the Hall of Truth, where the hearts of the deceased were weighed against the feather of Ma'at. But before we discuss the resurrection of his brother and his new role as the king of the underworld, Set, upon hearing of the resurrection and his brother's new role, sought to disrupt his brother even in the afterlife. Even gods found it challenging to transition from the land of the living to the land of the dead, with the exception of Anubis. Seeking to undermine his brother, even in the afterlife, Set devised a plan. In ancient Egyptian belief, a body needed to remain intact for a peaceful afterlife. Set intended to mutilate Osiris's body once more, transforming himself into a leopard. Known for its stealth and ferocity, he stealthily approached the vault where his brother's mummy was kept. But Anubis stood guard, and as Set approached, Anubis struck the leopard's skin with a firebrand, leaving the animal's hide permanently marked. This encounter not only explains the leopard spots, but also symbolizes why priests during mummification rituals wore leopard skins, a tribute to Anubis's victory over Set. With the help of Thoth, the god of wisdom, they cast spells to trap Set. Anubis tore the leopard skin from Set's body and wore it as a warning to those who dared to desecrate graves. Anubis's new role extended to guiding the souls of the deceased through their perilous journey to the Duat, the afterworld. This journey was fraught with challenges and trials, including navigating treacherous landscapes, confronting fierce creatures, and facing tests set by powerful deities guarding the gates of the underworld. With his intimate knowledge of the underworld's intricacies, Anubis helped lead the souls through these daunting obstacles. But the souls that passed these trials would finally reach the Hall of Truth, the final and most crucial stage of the soul's journey. Anubis ushered the souls into the presence of Osiris, now the Lord of the underworld. The deceased stood before a panel of 42 divine judges, proclaiming their innocence of any wrongdoing in life, a declaration known as the negative confession. The heart of the deceased, representing their actions and intentions in life, was placed on one side of a scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at, the embodiment of truth and cosmic order. If the heart balanced with the feather, the soul was deemed pure and worthy of eternal bliss in the fields of Aru. But if the heart was heavier, laden with the weight of sins and wrongdoing, it was devoured by Ammit, the devourer of souls, annihilating the soul from existence. As cultures interacted over centuries, the figure of Anubis evolved, particularly in the context of Greek and Roman mythology. This fusion gave rise to Anubis, a composite deity, blending attributes of Anubis and the Greek god Hermes. Known as a messenger god and a guide to the underworld in Greek mythology, Hermes shared similar responsibilities with Anubis, as a psychopomp guiding souls to the afterlife. Today, Anubis's legacy extends into popular culture, from literature to video games and movies. His enigmatic persona captivates the imagination, often embodying mystery and the supernatural. Yet these portrayals sometimes skew his true nature, painting him as a figure of darkness rather than a balanced duality of death and protection. Anubis is often depicted with the head of a jackal, and there's a significant reason behind this. The ancient Egyptians observed that jackals, animals that thrived in the desert, often lurked near graves. They believed that by depicting Anubis with a jackal's head, he would be connected to the protection of graves and the dead, echoing the natural behavior of the animals. The color of Anubis's skin carries significant symbolism. Anubis is often depicted with black skin, a color that symbolizes rebirth and regeneration, akin to the fertile dark soil of the Nile River. In the story of Anubis, we find lessons about life, death, and the enduring power of myth. What insights have you gained? Share your thoughts and join the conversation below. There are more myths and more legends. Join me as we explore the mysteries of mythology.